Son of a bitch.
It's just me.
I've been talking about your super chat this whole time.
Sorry, it was just me. Hello, are you here to debate?
God damn it.
Hello, Jesus loves you. How are you guys doing?
Oh, God, if Jesus loves me so much, why is he not on his knees for me right now?
He already went on his knees in the Garden of Gethsemane.
No, for me specifically.
Hot.
Why is he not on his knees for me specifically?
See that? Didn't you see it's for all mankind? It's
No.
hatred,
I don't accept love that's for everybody. So why wasn't he on his knees for me?
There's only God love and God hate, and you've shown your God hate. You show your God.
Oh, I absolutely. If the Christian God is real, I absolutely hate him. Yeah.
I have one question for you. This is biological.
Hold on. Hold on. That's not how this works. That's not how this works.
You say.
Jesus Christ. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. I muted you. It's okay. I muted you because I don't know if he knows. I don't know if he knows that this is not his show, but I don't know that, I have a whole thing that I do at the beginning of calls, so he needs to be patient. Let's see if he's ready to speak now. Okay, great. Welcome back to the show, person that we don't know. Can you tell us your name, age, and pronouns, please?
I am a male human being. I am a he, him. Is that a pronoun for you?
He, him's not a pronoun for me.
It's
a pronoun in the English language, yes. Now you've answered one of
human
my...
being is not a pronoun.
You've answered one of my questions. Can you answer the other two? The other two, please?
4 years old.
And your name?
I've been a Christian most of my life, but I stepped away from Christianity for 20 years to pretend to be an atheist.
How hard is this?
Very, apparently. Are you going to give us your name or no?
Richard.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
What topic on the board are you calling to talk about, Richard?
Evolution, my friend, evolution.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Let's do it. That's what I do for the whole. That's literally my job, is to talk about evolution. That sounds great.
Your job, okay? We love your job, okay? So, genetic code. Can you name me another code that came from nowhere? That came without any kind of intellectual influence at all? And
So there's a yes. So a couple things that are really important to note here when we get just right at the outset. I'm going to give you three concepts, and then we'll move into it a little bit further if that doesn't satisfy you. The first is that this is an argument that's frequently used by the Discovery Institute, especially like Stephen Meyer and the like, where the entire argument is DNA is sort of like a code, and therefore codes are languages that require a designer, and that designer happens to be not just any creator, but their specific version of their specific translation of their specific idea of their specific flavor of their specific God from their specific holy book, and blah, 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 blah. It sucks. It just doesn't work. So really this is not...
Atheism is not exist. It doesn't exist. You have hatred for God, sir. You hate your creator.
So
it's not about.
Right away, Richard, we're jumping off topic because I was talking about the thing that you asked.
Forrest, if you want me to mute him, just let me know. If you want me to mute him, just let me know.
You muted him a second ago. And I could still hear him.
He's muted for the. He'll be muted for the stream.
You belittled my intelligence. You say
okay.
Okay, I just put him on hold.
So. Yeah. So here's the thing, Richard. I don't know if you've stopped talking because I could still hear you when Jovan muted you the last time and you never stopped talking the whole time. I can actually still hear you and you have not stopped talking. But just for everybody out there that is paying attention, Richard asked me a question. I was starting to answer his question about biology, and he flew into this fucking emotional tirade about how I hate a God that I don't even think exists. And now we've got, who knows what he's talking about. I didn't even get to the second. I literally said, I've heard this argument before. Here's where it usually comes from. That's all I've said. And now this is where we are. So, Richard, are you ready for me to continue trying to answer your question?
In the high, because everybody
doesn't sound like it. I would love to actually answer your question, Richard. Are you going to let me answer your question about codes and where they come from? Well, now I can't hear you either, Jovan.
I muted myself. That was on me. He's
damn
currently muted, and I could still see him talking. So maybe now he's ready. Richard, are you ready to have the actual conversation or no?
I'm actually. Are you going to not belittle me?
Well, you interrupted
I
Forrest.
haven't belittled you. I
You
started
belittled my
answering your
statement.
question, and you went on a whole tirade.
All right. Well, you're saying that it's a supposed code. It actually is a code. It's a digital code. It's a very complex digital code. I want to know how it's not complex enough for you, and how that information.
I
got
never
there.
said that it wasn't complex. I never said that it wasn't complex. You're putting words in my mouth.
Okay, so you're saying it's complex. How did the complexity get there?
Okay, so I'm going to finish answering the first question that you asked, and then I'll get to that one, because you cut me off while I literally, all I ever said was, I have heard this argument before, and you went on a whole fucking thing for 3 minutes. So the first part is, yes, this argument frequently, this argument.
Hold on, excuse me.
This argument.
I want to talk.
Oh yeah, no, pardon me for talking over you. No, you're right. Go right ahead.
When I'm telling you, when you come back and you wanted to make a little belittling comment about every little thing, that my fairy god and everything like that, you don't have to be belittling.
What belittling thing did I say specifically?
Can't you be genuine with your speech instead of being belittling?
What belittling thing did I specifically say to you, Richard?
God, why can't,
Richard, what belittling thing did I say to you?
You were using belittling information. You were using belittling language.
Me? What did I say specifically?
I didn't realize the right were such fucking snowflakes, bro.
Listen to what you were saying. That it has to be my little way with my little god and my little fairy tale.
I didn't say that at all, and I never used the term fairy tale.
That's exactly how you were speaking, man. You were belittling my intelligence.
Bro, stop being such a baby.
I'm going to repeat what I said because I know what I said. I never used the term fairy tale. What I said, Richard, was that people at the Discovery Institute, like Stephen Meyer, who is the person who is most famous, as far as I know, for putting this argument out, that DNA is sort of like a code and therefore needs a code or a designer and blah, blah, blah. And that designer always happens to be not just some generic god, but his specific version of his specific translation, of his specific interpretation, of his specific copy of his specific holy book. That's what I said. At no point did I direct any of that at you, and at no point did I say fairy tale.
I consider that very belittling.
Me personally,
what part about it is wrong?
I just want to say real quick that I don't think you can belittle an intelligence that's already little, but
God that is alive and can act in your life if you'll give them a chance. But you are absolutely.
What part of what I said, Richard, is incorrect? If you say that I'm belittling somebody, when Stephen Meyer's entire platform and the Discovery Institute's entire platform is pseudoscience masquerading as real science, putting up creationism and intelligent design as if it is actual science, specifically so that they can push specifically the Christian God in specifically the way that they interpret it. How is that wrong when I then say they are saying there's a creator and it happens to be their specific translation, their specific version, their specific preference of their specific God? That is literally what they do.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is it a complicated code?
Or you could answer the question that I just asked you. That would be great.
What is the question you asked me?
Okay, so you weren't listening at all. So I'll repeat the question again. You were accusing me of belittling you specifically because I talked about how Stephen Meyer and the Discovery Institute use bullshit arguments to propose a creator, and that creator happens to always be their specific version of their specific God. And you accused me of belittling you specifically with that. I'm asking you, what part of what I said is incorrect?
Ask your question. Will you forgive me for my
And you haven't stopped talking this entire time.
I'm waiting for you to
Yeah,
ask the
see, the
question.
whole time you were Richard, the whole time you were just talking, I asked the question again and you didn't hear it because you can't shut the fuck up long enough to have a conversation.
I'm waiting for you to forgive me for talking over you.
I
Please
just
forgive me.
did. You didn't hear it because you were talking over me.
Okay, so ask the question now, please.
So, okay, so you want me to ask the question now for the fourth time. Are you going to listen this time?
I'm waiting.
That was a yes or no question, Richard.
Yes, I said I'm waiting. You asked the
Yeah.
question.
Okay, great.
Yes, I'm ready
So
to
now
go.
I'm going to give the question for the fourth time, and if you talk over me this time, I'm going to stop trying because it's clearly not worth anybody's time to continue, right? So, the question that I asked you was the Discovery Institute uses this specific argument that you have started with, that DNA is like a code and therefore needs a coder. They use this argument frequently to push the idea not just of a creator, but of their specific Christian God, their version, their interpretation, their ideal of this one specific God. Stephen Meyer, in particular, is very notorious for doing this and is also a founding member of the Discovery Institute. So when you accused me of belittling you specifically by pointing that out, my question then to you was, what did I say that was wrong? And what did I say that was about you?
Actually, you didn't say anything that was wrong about me or anyone else. You didn't say anything. You just made
Great.
your opinion very well known, and I just kind of flew off because I knew that I have a somewhat bad temper, and I wish to apologize for that.
Great. So let's move forward now. The first question that I appreciate the apology. Let's now move forward to the next thing. You started this conversation by asking me where DNA code comes from and all this different stuff. And I told you I was going to give you 3 points that elucidate the situation. The first one was that this is a very common talking point from the Discovery Institute and Stephen Meyer, who are a pseudoscience organization that spread this bullshit. It's a very common talking point. So that was literally all I said. I know where this is coming from. The second thing is that you said in your opening statement that how did this information come from nowhere? It didn't. And nobody's claiming that it did. I'm a biologist and I'm telling you, I know plenty about DNA. It didn't come from nowhere. I'm not claiming that it did at all. I am claiming that it does not need a designer. And that's pretty evident as far as I'm concerned, looking at DNA. The third thing is that this has unless you are asking about how DNA changes, this has very little to do with evolution. And so I'm curious to know, are you talking about like how DNA works? Are you talking about how DNA changes? Or are you just talking about where DNA came from in the first place? Because these are all very different questions. And I want to try to answer a specific question for you without getting on 13 different tirades and you leave this call thinking that I was dodging you or avoiding you. I want to try to hammer down what the actual concern is. And we can cover many of them. But my question to you, Richard, what specifically is it about DNA that you would like to talk about? And what specifically about DNA leads you to believe that it requires design?
Okay. It happens to be that I am a redhead. I have red hair. DNA gave me this red hair. DNA also gave me freckles. DNA gave me blue eyes. DNA gave me fairly tasty white skin. And in some areas, I have like little moles in certain areas of my body. All of this comes from information given to my stem cells by DNA. I want to know where the information for red hair and eyeballs that are blue and freckles, where did that information come from? Where did it originate from?
Okay. So having red hair and freckles is a variation of a particular gene, MC1R, I believe. There's this one particular gene it's a melanin coding gene. If Jovan and I have a chemical called eumelanin in our hair, skin, and eyes, and all those things. Oh, my eyes are blue, so I have none of that. But like in my hair and skin, eumelanin, that's what gives you brown coloration. If you have red hair and freckles, you have a variation of that called pheomelanin. This is a mutation that arose on the MC1R gene, believe 30 to 50,000 years ago is how far back. It may be a little, I think 30 to 80. But a few tens of thousands of years ago is when this mutation arose, is when we see this. So you have a gene that codes for one thing. You have a minor mutation on that gene that causes it to code for a slightly different thing. Do you understand how mutations work, or would you like me to explain that in a way that makes sense so that we don't get hung up on it moving forward?
I understand what mutation is and adaptations.
Okay, great. Well, mutation and adaptation are different things.
Well, are they? Because red hair kind of occurs in the northern areas of the Earth, and it somewhat works taking care of. Well, the freckles kind of help with seeing very well in snowy conditions where everything is very, very bright out. It seems to act kind of like the black paint that they put under their eyes. Freckles kind of work like that. So, and it occurs in northern areas of the world. So I do understand that mutations occur.
I just want to be clear
especially when the environment is involved, and the environment does dictate how mutations adapt our body to our surroundings.
So no, that's not really how that works. It's important to, like, here's the thing, dude. I'm going to be real with you. I can explain this difference. It isn't really relevant. So do you want to get into how mutation and adaptation works, or do you want to focus on where DNA and code comes from? What are we doing? Because that's a different conversation, and it's a little complicated, but it's not too complicated.
DNA and code, were you actually present 50,000 years ago to observe this actual occurrence?
No, but we can track it. We can track it using molecular clocks and like genealogies, DNA records, ancient DNA. Like there's a lot of ways that we can learn how these things work. So the were you there argument really, really doesn't work, especially in terms of biological science.
Well, it kind of does work when you talk about when you're talking about sedimentary rock layers.
I'm not.
Sedimentary rock layers have no. Well,
Forrest, he can't hear me right now. I'm just letting you know that in 2 minutes he's getting the boot because someone paid to boot him.
Rock layers, and the problem with that is, for the sedimentary rock layers to work properly, you have to have a gauge of time. The problem is there is no gauge in time in the sedimentary rock layers because they occurred very rapidly. They didn't occur slowly like everybody says, because here's the evidence for what I'm saying.
So
you're putting 50. Hold on. This is what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. You're saying that the sedimentary rock layers at certain points, 50,000 years ago, underneath this ground, this is where this particular genetic mutation come from, and it's, I don't know, probably 50 feet down, whatever you guys call that. Here's the problem. When you look at the sedimentary rock layers, you don't have any erosion within those sedimentary rock layers. You have no primordial canyons that join.
I just want to be very clear, Richard. Richard, I am interrupting you, and I'm doing it on purpose because hold on. I'm sorry, Richard. This is not your show. I am interrupting you on purpose because what you're saying right now, number one, is wrong, but number two is completely irrelevant to mutation, which is what you said you wanted to talk about. So I can get into sedimentary rock layers and how they work, but that is yet another completely different conversation.
Hold on.
You started talking about where does DNA code come from, and then we talked about where does red hair and freckles come from, and now we're talking about sedimentary rock.
You want to? Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Jesus loves you.
For what? You changed the topic 5 times every time we got to starting to understand something.
Say 2,000 years ago, that puts you in a timetable, and you're using sedimentary rock to prove your timetable.
Hey, Richard.
No, I'm not.
Richard.
I don't.
Richard.
Richard, I don't
Richard.
have to use rock layers to back that up.
Hey,
I don't have
Richard.
to.
Richard.
I'm talking about your
Holy shit, kick rocks. Jesus Christ.
I'm trying to get across. Yes, sedimentary rock layers are a thing. They're one way that we can date a site, date a concept. I was talking about molecular clocks. That has nothing to fucking do with radiometric dating or rock layers or whatever other problem he had. I didn't even need to use that point to back up my argument, but Richard wouldn't know that because the motherfucker couldn't stop talking long enough to have an actual conversation with somebody who studies this shit for a living. He's just going to go on believing what he wants to believe. And it's exactly like what I talked about. He's going to walk away from this conversation claiming that I was dodging his arguments and I wasn't able to attack because he just kept changing the topic every single fucking time he was confronted with any kind of facts. I don't know how to handle that. I don't know what to say to you, Richard. Go back and rewatch this call and see if there was ever a point where I didn't directly address exactly what we were talking about.
Thank you guys for watching. And shout out to my YouTube members. Their names appear on the side. Membership starts at $2.99 and gets you access to early videos, uncensored videos, and members-only content. Also, shout out to Tier 4 members, Bamji, Matthew Holloway, Vampy, Kelsey Dooley, Kelsey K, Jake, Marceline, and Yemye. Tier 4 members get to help choose debate topics, and their contributions go a long way to helping me create higher quality content for all of you. Remember to subscribe for your daily dose of leftist debates, and I'll see you in the next video.